Hey everyone. So the Aria Lane proposal has actually been revised. So I kind of want to talk about that process, and then I'm going to get into what the revisions are. So back in early October, there was a public hearing, and that was about the midpoint, around the 45-day-ish in a 90-day decision window for DPP for the original planned development housing application. So the original decision was supposed to be in mid-November, um, based on and we had the hearing right in the beginning of October. Okay, so before November's deadline, the applicant requested a 30-day extension. So that's allowed here. And so that extended the DPP's decision. It got extended 30 days until what should have been last week, the 13th of December, would have been the deadline for DPP's decision on the original planned development housing. Okay, so then on the 26th of November, Avalon submits a revised plan, and it's, I guess, substantial enough to be considered substantially amends. So this is very interesting. So it's another part of this, I guess our permitting law here. Um, Normally you're here. So 90-day window with the 45 days after public hearing, which we had. Um, and then before the first 90 days expired, they used the thing I showed below. They asked for the 30-day extension. Okay, so that got them to mid-December. And then before that mid-December deadline hits, um, the applicant can substantially amend the application. And if that happens, it falls here. And then DPP director now has 90 days from that amendment to act. Okay, so it's worth noting now that when they get to this point, it it's already past the public hearing. So whatever they put in this amendment that they just did, revised thing, um, it gives DPP more time to evaluate, but does not officially open any kind of public hearing or any more public input. So um, uh, like unless you're following this closely, you're not gonna be made aware that one, it was revised, and two, there's no real official means for the public to provide input, like there was for the initial hearing. So before we jump into this, one of the lingering questions that I had was, why? Why do it like this? I mean, the developer has like an infinite amount of time, right? Before they submit, I mean, they can build up their PDH application, polish it up as much as they possibly want prior to the first submittal. So it begs the question, why? Why then ask for extension, and then why then resubmit substantial changes? So let's just start. Let's do the benefit of the doubt. Just assume that everybody is like, has a heart of gold and wants the best. So it could just be that maybe something came up, either during the hearings and the feedback from the agencies and maybe the public, I guess, um, and that got them to make a few of these changes that substantially enough to cause this reset, right, with the 90 days. So okay, let's go into details of what exactly changed here. So this is the revised packet. Um, so the first difference really is they did away with all of the multifamily units. So now it's 85 total units, but it's split up between these two-story homes and the one-story homes. So it's no longer there's no multifamily units at all on the site. It's just single-family units. And if you remember from the hearing, of course it was sort of misstated, but the multifamily units would have come in at about the $700,000 range for the market priced um, multifamily units. Single family units were going to be probably at the 1.4, 1.5 to 1.8 million price point. So by doing away with all the multifamily units, I mean they're removing the most affordable units that were planned to be on site. Open space, they're saying that they have 59%. They need 50% of the grounds to be at a minimum open space. I'll get into that in a little bit more detail. It's interesting how that's computed. So it's, I mean, the math's right, but when you see the picture, it's gonna be kind of. This is the part that kind of put me on tilt a little bit again. So okay, so now they have this little table here, and this is I guess how they're proposing to do the affordable units. So by PDH law, they're required to provide some number of affordable units, and in the public hearing, this was 10% of the units, total units, and they're planning on providing the 10%. They're planning on using some of the multifamily units to fulfill this requirement, right? Um, they got some feedback from one of the agencies. I'm not sure if it's Department of Housing or whatever, but one of the feedback points was, it's not, segregating it like that is not, not what they like. Normally, they'd rather it be evenly distributed. So, if the development has so many multifamily and so many single family, then ideally the affordable component would be spread amongst all the different types. And that was feedback that came from one of our agencies during the review period. So in this update, revised update, we just have this table. So there's no real, like, the writing's not on the wall per se, but here's the table. And in the table, it says that they're going to be using this off-site production requirement. So this allows them, there's actually a clause in our thing where yes, you have to provide affordable units, but they don't technically need to be on the same site. So um, you can provide off-site affordable units to fulfill your requirement. And this is being done. This is actually really common, like in the Ward Kakako area, where the luxury towers, a lot of them don't have any affordable units in a luxury tower, and they built a separate tower off in the corner somewhere, and it fulfilled all of the affordability. And that's what they did down in Ward and Kakako. Maybe it was a great idea. So they're trying to reboot the idea here. Um, and you can see that it's requirement at only 5%, so it's less than the 10% before. And then here they're proposing it that it's a for rent unit. So okay, so in the original PDH, these were going to be affordable for sale units, right? And it was for local families, and you're able to get in. I live in Manoa. It was a very compelling, and actually it was actually one of the very few things that I thought was was value. Um, but now no. Now it appears based on this little table here that it's going to be off-site affordable units, and that they're going to be rent for rent. So it's not really um, giving local families the opportunity to buy and earn equity, and it's not even on the site. So it's like it probably isn't even in Manoa. I'm not sure where it is, but they're proposing in this block that it's a off-site rental affordable units. And again, because all of the multifamily units are gone, the, the proposal now just has single family units that are going to be priced, 1.5 million and above, right? Right. So it's not, it's much less attainable, for a young local family. Okay, so just to get an overall picture of the updated site plan, as you can see, there's no more multifamily, building here. It looks even more just like a subdivision, but smaller, obviously, because much smaller lots, but kind of crammed in. But it looks, just regular single family units now. Um, and I zoomed in a little bit just to kind of show that they're almost not hiding it anymore, that it's going to be a gated community. Here, it's no longer called proposed or potential gate. There's a gate. Um, and there's like marks with fence. There's fence with gates. So the fencing goes all around here. The fence comes around here. There's a gate. Fence, 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 fence. So I mean, it was one of my, if you remember, one of my only questions at the town hall about it being a gated community. And um, I guess, as of this revision, it's pretty much now the writings on the wall that it's gonna be gated. And so here's another drawing, and I believe this coloring here is to show where the open space is, right? And based on above, they're saying that they have 59% open space. There's a 50% um, minimum requirement. If you compare it to like single family, residential, it's also a 50% as far as building on your actual lot, 50%. So because they're at 59, it's like they think, it makes it sound like it's more. I just wanted to point out kind of it has to do with just the way this lot is. So their actual property line for this lot, this is the center of Manoa Stream. So they own, I mean, technically the property runs to the center of Manoa Stream. So they're claiming all of this, which is part of this is actually like water that's in the stream, and also the bank, Manoa Stream's bank, the very steep bank of Manoa Stream is counted here as their, it's open space, by definition, as far as like, um, there's also this buffer that they're required to have. I think it's a 15-foot buffer. So there's some, this open space that they just kind of required to have. So I guess my concern is if you're living in this area, I mean, you're not interacting with this bank that much. So if you live in this area, over here, you're living, um, it's not like you might not be experiencing this open space, right? Because open space is all in this ditch bank and it's in the water. So I mean, it's there, it exists on the planet, I guess, but it's it, you might not be feeling that open, right? You're going to be really close to, there's almost no. It's like a 5 foot setback here, so you're within 10 feet, right, of a wall. There's fencing and gates and whatever. And in the front, what I guess could be, it's not even really a yard, but whatever, the front area. I mean, there's not a lot of space, to for green space for the residents even to experience this green space. Okay, this is what they're calling the conceptual street scenes. So again, from that road, what you would be expected to see, and like I was kind of saying before, I mean, it'll be dominated by garage doors, right? Because there's no doors that face the front, the street. So you're just seeing garage doors. This is actually surprisingly generous, right? Because the lot lines here and here. So like this would even be closer if an A and B were together, right? I mean, you don't even have this gap, right? It's like this is right here, this fence. Um, and there's cases where like B's are together. Like I've seen like there's a couple of BBB. So you know you have a two-story kind of right next to a two-story. It's relatively close. Um, so yeah, it's just like the even on the roadway when you're in this little gated community, you're pretty much just seeing garage doors. It'll be like almost an alley of just garage doors on either side, like as far as the eye can see. So this is the landscaping plan, and in the original, proposals and PDH, they're saying, well, we're gonna put the trees. Everybody's front yard's gonna have this tree. But when you look now, imagine it's the main entrance, like the main road. You're coming down here. Imagine the stretch. I mean, look, there's very few trees. Like maybe there's one or two here, but now you're driving down the stretch, and it's just garage door, garage door, garage door. It's just as far as I can see. And it's very narrow between here. So these yards, there's almost no yard. I mean, there's no sidewalks. The 22-foot roadway is the shared roadway. So I mean, you're coming here, and it's like you'll be driving down almost an alleyway. Just garage, 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 garage. There's no trees. Okay, oh, there's one tree over here. Okay, garage, garage, garage. One tree here. Okay, okay, garage, garage. I mean, it's just not. It doesn't feel like it would be as open and as green as it was originally proposed.